Hello everybody on the internet. Spider-Man has arguably the second greatest rogues gallery in all of comics. In fact, he has millions of villains. There have been so many Spider-Man movies, cartoons and games where we have seen many versions of these villains. Most recently the game Marvel's Spider-Man 2 came out, so I am going to list my top 5 Spider-Man villains. Number 5 is Dr. Octopus. Dr. Otto Octavius is such a Stan Lee creation. Being such an intelligent villain with really tough robotic arms, he makes for good stories. Now I'm not a fan of the Raimi trilogy, and I think Spider-Man 2 is very overrated, but Alfred Molina is well casted as Doc Ock. He was even better in No Way Home, and had a great action scene. I'd say the best version of Dr. Octopus is in the Spider-Man game. That was such a strong story. Number 4 is Black Cat. Now Felicia Hardy is so much more than just a villain. She's very often an anti-hero and lover of Spider-Man, which makes her a unique part of the Rogues Gallery. Peter Parker is very intelligent, but Felicia is always able to manipulate him. She makes very compelling stories.
Do you ever miss this?
What? Me getting shot at while you steal things?
Even though she's a thief, she genuinely does have feelings for Spidey and doesn't want bad things to happen. Black Cat needs to be in the next MCU Spider-Man trilogy. Number 3 is the Green Goblin. I specifically mean Norman Osborn. Green Goblin is to Spider-Man what the Joker is to Batman. His design, his glider, his pumpkin bombs, and his insane evil personality make him such an iconic villain. The fact that he is the father of Peter's best friend Harry makes the stories he's in so powerful. Willem Dafoe is freaking great as him. Then Goblin was on another level in No Way Home.
Peter, Peter, Peter. No good deed goes unpunished. You can thank me later.
And I'm not going to mention the awful things Green Goblin has done to Spider-Man. Number 2 is Mysterio. Of course, Mysterio is just smoke and mirrors. He has no powers and wears a fishbowl. He's a silly villain, but at the same time, he's compelling and effective. Far From Home is what really made me love Quentin Beck. Jake Gyllenhaal perfected him. He completely fooled Spidey and tore his world apart.
If you were good enough, maybe Tony would still be alive.
And I have to mention the illusion scene. It is mind-bending. A Steve Ditko artwork come to life. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 gave him an awesome design too. Mysterio is the best Scooby-Doo villain ever. Before the number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Vulture looks a little bit lame in the comics, but Michael Keaton's portrayal in Homecoming was perfect. He's a grounded and real villain who was so tough for a young Spider-Man to beat. Mr. Negative is one of the cooler Spidey villains. Insomniac Games took a relatively new and obscure character and made him an amazing villain in the game, who later got redemption. Kraven the Hunter is very different to others. He's just a man with immense skill who lives for the hunt. Marvel Spider-Man 2 did him perfectly. He was so impactful. Whatever the hell Sony are doing is not Kraven. Number 1 is Venom. Other than looking awesome and being so powerful, what makes Venom interesting is the symbiote's previous bond to Peter Parker and Eddie Brock's own story. The symbiote does awful things to everyone's lives. Poor Venom was ruined in Spider-Man 3, and then the Venom movies do him more accurately, but they are beyond terrible and cringe. The best version of Venom is in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Even though Harry Osborn was Venom instead of Eddie, it was such a powerful story, and Tony Todd's voice is perfect.
We are.
Venom is my favourite Spider-Man villain. So what are your top 5 Spider-Man villains? Let me know in the comments below, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility.